with the pole with the slight advantage. That, again, very short. He got away with it, though. Again, very short. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, he found that quite hard. And having done all that work to end up in the way he did, what a pity for him. Look at this control and speed from so far back.
19-all.
Tremendous how Gruber turned defence into attack there, and really it was an unforced error in the end that cost him the point.
Oh, I'm not surprised. He was getting very tired by that time. I think he welcomed that little lie down on the floor. It's 19-all then. First game. Best of 3, remember.
20-19.
Mazenoff did well there, kept it very tight. Gruber slightly hesitant as he came in to flick it. The flick is where the player keeps the wrist nice and loose and hits straight through the ball.
Well, there's the situation. Service with Mazenoff and 20-19, so game point. Oh! Well, he wins the first game with that net situation. So Andrei Mazunov goes 1 game to love up at 21-19, and what an enthralling game it was. Well, Gruber had an interesting game there, and he is such an experienced player, I have to say that. And he's not down and out by any stretch of the imagination. He's ranked number 5 in Europe at 30 years of age, and there's his performances in this tournament. 2-love against the Chinese Liang, beat Cook of England 2-love, and then Mazenoff 2-1 in that match I mentioned earlier in qualification, and in the semi-final, well, a nice win to take him through to this stage. Well, Mazenoff must be very pleased with that. Now, I wonder what that will do psychologically to him. He's 21, he's obviously had a good tournament. He lost to Gruber in that earlier qualification, but it really was at the time when both men had qualified. He beat Desmond Douglas, of course, in the semi-final. And there he is, ranked 30 in the world and 7 in Europe. And has a fair old pedigree as well. Well, Gruber just having some attention to his number, and is making Mazenoff wait. It'll be a good opportunity to relax and to prepare.
Quiet, please.
The second game, 1 game to love. Andrei Mazunov of the Soviet Union leads against the defending champion, Andrzej Grubba. Gruber, closest to us, represented Poland in the Seoul Olympics, as did Andrei Mazunov represent the Soviet Union.
2-love.
Gruber had the better games. He lost though in the 8th finals in Seoul against one of the Swedes, Jörg Persson, but Mazunov had a very poor qualification and a disappointing Olympics. So, very tight first game now.
3-1.
Tall, and with most of the strokes, although, as we've said many times, the emphasis on the backhand side, that's where the strength is. Finds it difficult to smash the ball from topspin, but finds it difficult to smash. Well, Donald, it's an interesting stage in this match so far, isn't it? Where's your money?
Well, I'm going to be ambitious here. I'm going to still pick Gruber to come back from 1-0 down to win this game. I think he's going to stay closer to the table now. I think he's going to take the ball a bit earlier and try and force Mazenoff away from the table. But of course, 1-0 down, it's going to be very hard for him to come back.
And it's 3-4 in this second game. Gruber with the service.
3-5.
Well, a little lapse at the moment. Is looking a little frustrated and will want to contain his emotions here because it's vital that he does. Can't let the Soviet get away. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. It was a good retrieval, actually, from Mazenoff to strike the table at that angle with that pace. But the final execution was quite something. Watch that, forcing his man back and then just dropping it over the net. Nice play by Gruber. All even, but not in terms of games. Mazenoff with that advantage.
6-5.
Gruber there slightly misreading the serve, anticipated a little bit more backspin. There wasn't. The ball returned slightly too high above the net. Mazenoff straight in. Tremendous forehand over the table.
Well, that's Jack Evans, the umpire, having a look at that ball. He's assisted, incidentally, by Stuart Sherlock as the assistant umpire. The officials doing a grand job here. But let's have a look at the last point whilst we wait. From the high angle, what a powerful shot that was.
Mazenoff serving 6-5. 7-5.
Really is a game of cat and mouse here. Both players trying to serve short, create an opening, force their opponent away from the table.
Let 7-5.
Missed it. That has to go down as an unforced, well, I wouldn't say unforced error, but it was certainly an error.
8-5.
The tremendous thing there with Mazenoff was how he changed from topspin to backspin. Two extremely good backspin strokes in that rally.
9.
Superb serve there. Serve short, the previous three serves, then a quick serve straight down the line. Very brave. Gruber now in a very difficult situation.
Fault.
Well, I wonder whether Mazenoff could have expected to play this well because he's dominating this match at the moment. Okay, it's 9-6, but he is one game to love up, and he's not allowing Gruber to find his rhythm at all. Good backspin chop there. Oh.
Mazenoff had a little smile to himself there. I've seen him play numerous times and never ever seen him chop a ball before. But he's played three superb examples of the backspin stroke.
8-9.
Well, just 1 point now between them in the second game, so it's still wide open.
Oh. 9-4.
Gruber there forcing Mazenoff away from the table. He's the one who stayed close. Mazenoff the one who retreated. And Gruber, of course, winning the point.
Well, that's yet another example of the error creeping in, and I wonder if Mazenoff can just maintain his composure here, because he's gone one down now, and he has the service against him.
9-11.
Interesting this. That last few seconds, I remember you saying earlier, Donald, that so much can happen in a spell of 15 or 20 seconds in this game, and I think we've had a good example here of how fortunes have changed very rapidly.
That's right, Mazenoff 9-6 up. 5 poor returns of serve, or comparatively poor. 11-9 to Gruber.
Top spin loop onto the deep into the table there. You could see that time it was much better from Gruber because the ball was deep onto the far end of the table. He didn't leave any options for that short smash.
$9-13.
You must remember that Gruber was 9-6 down, so 7 points now, 7 consecutive points for Gruber.
It's probably the most significant statistic of the match so far. And
9-14.
and there's another point away now. Mazenoff quite clearly will be losing a little confidence here. Actually, just looking back at the statistics there, it does appear that was 8 consecutive points, and that is a significant factor.
16-9, Gruber.
Well, that margin extending even more, because 16-9 it is.
Very good long fast service there.
You can see the change in manner, the way in which Gruber is now on his toes, he's full of confidence, he's got away from the Soviet, he's recovered from that very poor situation at the beginning of this game, when it did look as though the Soviet was going to storm straight through, but fortunes have changed.
19-10.
The difference now is that Gruber's only going away from the table when he's forced away from the table. Rather than doing as a deliberate tactic, what he's trying to do is stay in there, dominate the game from close to the table.
Well, that was a good piece of play by Mazenoff. He changed the pace, he really struck the ball hard. That's as near to a smash as you'll see from Mazenoff.
Gruber now should be looking to finish this game off as quickly as possible. He's definitely got the upper hand now. Mazenoff looking a little unconfident there, and that's how Gruber wants to go into the next game.
Well, can he make it one game all? Still getting that deep top spin shot in, chop that one. Oh, that was well played. Gruber got it just a bit wrong there, and Mazenoff made him pay. He hammered that one.
12-20.
Well, he has one more point to save here. It's 12-20, and that's it. And what a good piece of play by Andrzej Grubba. He looked to be under real pressure at the start of this second game, but now the story is different. It's one game all, and we go to the third and final game to see who is going to win this Masters title. Well, let's just, whilst we see Gruber prepare, let's just go and have a look at the penultimate point. Well, that top spin lobbing backhand shot, that's the forehand, deep onto the far end of the table. Now, that's difficult. Look at the change there. Such power, and that recovery, and then the driving shot across the far corner, and that was a lovely shot by Mazenoff, and well appreciated.
Quiet, please. Gruber to serve. Third and final game. Love all.
Well, the statistics, one game all, third and final. And Gruber moves 1 point into the lead. The defending champion now.
2-love.
And this is the sort of start that he would want.
2-1.
Donald, after that second game where Mazenoff lost the advantage early on and allowed Gruber to get away, I mean, what do you think he would have to do to come back now? I mean, what will he be thinking?
I think it's so important in this game for one of the players to establish a lead, because once you get a little bit of confidence, especially as there's such fine touch involved in keeping the ball tight, then that confidence could then allow that player to dominate the game. So Gruber 3-2 up, made quite a good start. Although he was serving, Mazenoff now must be looking to get 4 of these 5 points on service. Obviously 5 will be very nice for him. But certainly looking to win 4 of them, probably short serves, and then try and dominate close to the table.
3-all.
Well, you have to say he was cool in the second game, and that will not have gone unnoticed by his opponent.
4-3.
Quite a good angle here to see Mazenoff when he's serving, how loose the bat is in his hand and how fast the bat's actually travelling when it hits the ball.
4-4.
And of course he uses his free arm to shield the point of contact from Gruber's vision, making it difficult for him to read the spin.
Actually, they're both doing that to each other, aren't they? And we were saying that earlier. And it is a significant tactic, and both players being able to force the other into the rhythm of their choice.
It's interesting now that both players are making a very determined effort to stay into the table. Even though both of them quite like to entertain away from the table, they know that's not a winning tactic in general. So both trying very hard, serve tight, get in and stay close to the table.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He watched that ball carefully. He got the right pace on it. And look at the execution of this. He was way back from the table, being forced back. And now watch this, he chops it, moves in for the kill. Marvellous stuff. Yes.
Tremendous skill there to play such an explosive shot as the smash and then to play the most delicate of touch strokes. Superb variation in pace.
Well, he's certainly got a margin of some significance here, has Gruber. And I wonder whether Mazenoff can come back. That will be helpful.
Mazenoff will be looking to get this point and then try and get a few more before we change ends at the halfway stage in this third game.
5-10.
So you have to remember, as they change ends here, that Andrei Mazunov was the runner-up in the European Singles Championship last year. And, you know, so he's class, and he's a class player in competition environments. So, you know, Gruber mustn't take it too lightly here, even with that 5-point advantage.
Six, 10.
Good variation in return of serve there by Gruber. Pushed it long and fast, deep into Mazenov's forehand. Took him by surprise. Mazenoff unable to lift the heavy backspin.
Once again, an attempt, I fancied there, to chop the ball by Mazenoff, and as you were saying earlier, Donald, he's not too successful at that, and certainly wasn't in that instance.
Maybe a few Pyrrhic victories before. He's trying to do something he's not too good at, and of course that cost him the point there.
Six, 13. Gruber.
Well, if you've just joined us, just to remind you, it's one game all. This is the third and final game. Who survived the early part of the second game to come out and win it, and then get him into this position here, which is giving him a bit of confidence. Oh, having said that, that was a good shot. Well, the workman blaming the tools there, I fancy.
Fault 13-9.
Costly, those unforced errors, but just trying to grab that fine advantage. Oh, That was on the backhand too. Yeah, well, the problem seems to be the recognition of the spin on the ball coming from Gruber. He's certainly disguising well, and the young Soviet is finding it difficult, as that score depicts.
The other thing that Gruber's done for the last few points is take the ball that little bit earlier, so the ball's coming through quicker. Mazenoff hasn't been quick enough to react, and in fact he's top-edged his previous two backhands.
Well, I just felt there that Mazenoff thought the ball had gone off and just changed his mind, hesitated for a moment, and it was enough to take the ball off at the other end. With a 17-9 advantage, or 9-17 rather, with the Soviet serving. Oh, I say.
9-18.
Well, what on earth happened there?
Mazenoff was trying to play the drop shot there, but Gruber got a tremendous amount of topspin on his lob. The ball kicked on hitting the table straight over the top of Mazenoff's bat. And I think he will see that. Mazenoff smashing down the forehand. Tremendous topspin. Mazenoff trying to play a delicate drop shot there with the backhand. Missed the ball completely.
Well, once more to battle. Oh, Gruber getting that ball very deep again. He's not allowing Mazenoff to get close enough. Oh. Well, he was looking to go in and kill with that topspin tight down the right-hand side. What a rally that was again.
10-18.
So typical of the match so far. (10-18). Tremendous control of the ball by Gruber. Didn't give Mazenoff a chance there. He shakes his head, and
10-19.
well, he might.
The impressive thing with Gruber here is that the good length he keeps. There he took the smash on. He was a little bit fortunate, clipped the top of the net.
Gruber.
Well, here we go. So the Leeds Masters Trophy very nearly in the hands of Gruber for the second year in succession, and that's it. And so Andrzej Grubba of Poland for the second year wins this Masters Trophy.
Gruber wins the match.
It really was an entertaining final.
21-12.
And how well Mazenoff fought, particularly in the first game. He won that comfortably, stormed ahead at the beginning of the second game, and then let it go. And Gruber got his composure back in the third and controlled it to a 21-10 victory. Good match.
Did it